Oh, we had to have the color thing up there first. Yay! And I don't have the applauding old ladies. Welcome to the Nexus. Welcome back to the Nexus. James Idlesmasher at gmail.com. Rosalie Jordan here. She don't have no
Hello.
picture yet. We're gonna get it, but she's here. Hi, shalom. And
Um,
hey, it's a time we talk God, time we talk Torah, and time we talk about all the things related to it, which is just about everything there is to know. Thank you for being here. Boy, we got a new book in the Torah. A new book this week. We're starting a new parsha, starting a new book. It's Exodus, and God gets personal. We'll explain that.
mhm.
But our friend of the show is something I brought up. I posted on Facebook. I haven't put on X yet, but um, I always found the Four Noble Truths to parallel Torah, or to to not there's no such thing as an unkosher vegetable, basically, most of the time. So some things are just you can accept it, for what it is. And it was the Four Noble Truths of Buddha. I don't subscribe to Buddhism, although martial arts, which is basically in many ways a Buddhist sect, has never left me, and I can still enjoy the Tao Te Ching. But our good rabbi friend, a friend of the Nexus here of many years, we don't get to see him as much. He's a busy man over there in the Holy Land. Um, he was saying that the noble truths of Buddha go: life is suffering is the first. Two, from desire comes suffering. Three, you can free yourself from desire, therefore suffering, and you once freed, on the fourth noble truth, you can free others. Now he brought up something that desire is something that comes from God, and that kind of threw me for a loop. And I'm like, well, then why does God not allow for coveting? And coveting is something completely different. Coveting is obsessing. Coveting is longing for something. Um, and it doesn't say you shall not desire your neighbor's car, your neighbor's wife, whatnot. It says do not covet.
Cool.
I mean, you desire world peace. Is that going to bring you suffering because you desire? Maybe you desire to have, salmon tonight. Is that desire this the source of suffering? I have to say no. So I went back and looked at it because in the back of my mind, this thing's been going on in my head. It's like there's something not right about this, and I looked up the word that was used, and it is nane or nane, Nanha. In the pronunciation I found, it's long, and that means grasping or longing for, wanting to the point where you'll take it. From that comes suffering. And when that hit me, it's like, oh, the word in the West we need to use is covet. Of course, it's a very biblical word. It might scare people off, but it's much more accurate. I mean, desire comes from God. You might desire justice. You might desire something worthy of having in the world that you don't have. That's not necessarily a bad thing. He was
Mhm.
right. Desire comes from God. I couldn't, but when you look at the translation of what Siddhartha, what Buddha was saying, he was saying that the desire that leads you to obsess to the point where you might steal, that would bring suffering. And then I thought about it. If you look at it in many ways, and if I'm wrong, Rosalie, correct me on this. But um, you could say that coveting could lead to all other 10 commandments, one way or another. I mean, it seems like that would be there's a universal reason why, you
Mhm.
know, that obsession, theft, obviously, murder, what people do for love, could turn you away from God. You want something so bad. Um, so I don't
You're
know.
ide- you're you're idolizing something that you want. You're making it an idol.
Hmm, that makes sense. Yeah. So yeah, just something I thought I'd bring up. Four Noble Truths sound very um they always sounded decent, right? I don't know how anybody could disagree with it. And I always took it as, well, look at what God gives you. Look at what you're allowed in Torah, which is a lot. There's a lot of freedom come the law. There really is. And when you keep Torah law, even for non-Jews like us, no, we're not Jews. We're what they call Ger or Ben Noach. You might know as better as that. We're not Jewish, but um,
Mhm.
Anyway, yeah. So we could. It's like Jethro was a guy who went around and checked out all the flowers. He was like a honeybee. He went to all the flowers before coming back home. And maybe some things out there work. Maybe there is wisdom in the world. And so yeah, just something I thought I'd bring up that I've come to. Did you hear about the ceasefire, Rosalie?
Yeah, which one? Yeah. Again?
We're
Yeah.
getting hostages back. This is good.
Nah, I don't like the deal. I'm sorry. 30
No,
for every woman and 50 for every woman soldier. And some of those people had information about 911 that they want to let loose. Yeah, I'm with you. BS.
yeah. Oh yeah, that was the other part of the
Okay,
yeah.
but the thing is, but right now is that they're trying to they're changing the rules. They got to the table and now they're changing the rules.
Oh, oh.
Imagine that. Imagine that.
I was wondering how long this would last. How many
Yeah.
ceasefires? Yeah, which one? This is number 6 now. We're not
Yeah.
offering them land. That's nice. Or Israel, sorry. He's not offering them land. This is good. That's a plus. I never liked, they're trading hostages, innocent people they kidnapped. We're trading people who are convicted criminals. Or Israel's trading people.
Yeah.
It's the Gare syndrome. Sorry, guys.
You
Uh,
know, it's not the gear syndrome. It's just common sense.
yeah, well, yeah, we're letting go actual, and we did this before with the last exchange of people. They want criminals back.
Oh yeah.
Never mind, they're not criminals. They're criminals, at least by
That's
Israeli
right.
standards, and they're releasing their own criminals out into. At this point, though, I mean, it might be a lot better to just kill them on the battlefield. Maybe I don't know, because the war. Gab was bringing up this in no way stops the war.
Exactly. That's the point right there that everybody's missing. A ceasefire does not mean the end of the war.
Yeah, there's no surrender.
Right.
And all the people, I hope they all surrender. And when they surrender, I hope that Israel goes in and gets them out of Gaza, brings them into the state, and lines them up against the wall and shoots them all in the back of the head. But that's just me. Maybe we
Yeah.
could find something better from like a George Carlin style execution, like rapid fire capital punch, where you get a bunch of catapults and just fling them into a brick wall. Bam, 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 bam.
Well, they used to throw people off the roof, so there's that,
There's
and then
that. Yeah,
stone them, and then stone them.
we can catapult them off the roof. Pop, pop, pop.
Face plant. Face plant.
I don't dig them. I'm sorry. If you don't know why, we'll move on to the memes of the week. You ready for some memes, real quick? We're gonna do
Sure.
some memes here. Okay, this right here, this should tell you everything you need to know about
Oh my God.
the pro Palestine. Woo,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, sticking it to the man, right?
Mm-hmm.
No pun, no pun. This is an adult show. Get the kids out of the room. Uh, I'm sorry.
Right.
Okay, this is just fun.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, we'll move on to here. And with all things I'm saying, but when you look at Ukraine and the history of,
Oh yes.
Resident Biden,
Mm-hmm.
to the wonderful, wonderful Zelensky. Oh, what a great fighter for freedom and justice and democracy and liberty. I'm kidding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And finally, here, meme of the week. This is about the homeland here. So, ain't it the
Yes.
truth? Ain't it the
Yes, it is.
truth?
Mm-hmm.
Fires are greater a spectacle to the eye. They look better on TV. Flowing water over homes you can't see because the water's so high. That's not fun. That doesn't sell.
No.
But yeah, let's not forget. Yeah, things aren't just back together, and it's nice in wintertime. In wintertime in Appalachia, old stuff. I was born
Yes,
in
it is.
Appalachia. I know. So, and to everybody whose lives are affected by the fire, fires, I do have sympathy.
We're not negating that. Trust me.
Yeah,
But the importance of it is, you see a bunch of rich people with a bunch of insurance. You know, And you see people who are just regular old plain folks scratching by for a living and then losing it. And your government doesn't help you. It takes it all away.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what's funny is, did I get to show the fire hydrant last week?
Yes. Over and over and over. And I
Okay.
still think it's, I
I
still
sent
think
it
it's
out all over my phone to my friends. I didn't let anybody get by. They're all going to see that.
Mhm.
My big thing is the wildfires in California were 100% preventable, or something you could mitigate. You could get them under control to some extent. I mean,
As
people.
long as you're not worried about salt water ruining your lawn. Yeah. Okay.
Well, let the salt water ruin your lawn. Plant some more stuff on top of it.
That was the whole thing. They had plenty of airplanes there, and they were just waiting for the winds to break. And someone said, "We can't do that because the salt water ruined the vegetation and all this." It's like, oh good lord.
Well, the vegetation's already ruined, but
Yeah.
you'd have a home, you'd have civilization, you
Yeah.
have power lines. So yeah, the difference is out east in North Carolina and that area is that's not preventable. There was nothing you could do to stop it. There was nothing anybody could do.
That was an
There's
act
no
of God.
mitigation.
The fire wasn't an act of God. The hurricane was.
Yeah. And we've already caught how many arsonists? There's another one, an activist caught. They're just
With a
setting fire.
flamethrower. I like the one with the flamethrower. That was good.
Oh, I didn't see that one. Did you send it to me?
No, it was on the news.
Oh. Someone was setting a fire with a flamethrower.
Yeah. Or he wanted to go to jail and had a flamethrower in his hand. Who knows? But who knows? The drama queens out there. It's like, get your man. Yeah. Oh, the big thing is too is that the only thing they had one publication that run, and it was the gay LGBTQ whatever, saying that the fires are getting taken care of by LA's first lesbian fire chief. Who gives a rat's ass if she's gay or not? Is it getting done? Why didn't the fire chief make sure he had fucking water in his system? That's part of her job. Hi. Yeah, it got done all right. Another reason why you should really be careful about putting. I'm not going there.
Well, it's
Nope.
I'll go
I'm
there.
not. You go there.
You can't put stuff like orgasm ahead of common sense. Nobody cares what you do to get off. And why the LGBTQ, AARP, whatever bunch?
MOUSE.
Why do you have to tell everybody constantly how you get your orgasm? No one gives a shit. Nobody. I would bet even other LGBTQ, AARP, MOUSE, two shakes of lamb's tail, whatever, don't care. Nobody wants to know. Nobody cares. Why is it? This is just the way it is. You're going too far into yourself, man. Nobody cares. No one cares. Notice ever since people started objecting to the parades, there's been less coverage of them because we don't like our children seeing you having mock fellatio in the street, on a parade, on a platform, or some S&M BS.
Mm-hmm.
Can't even run a freaking fire department next to an ocean.
Thank you.
We don't have the water. There's a whole freaking ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And the salt water wouldn't do too much after less than a year. I doubt it would. I could be wrong. But, hey, this administration does seem to be salting the earth.
With an A in front of it.
Ooh. That's good. That's good. Okay, well, let's move on to happier times, the enslaving of Israel. That's terrible. Torah studies by far a better
Speaking
topic.
of slaves of Israel, why don't we go to our parsha? Gee, that's all about Israeli slaves in Egypt. There you go.
What did I say? Slaves in Israel? Oh, good gravy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not allowed to get stuff mixed up. It's not Purim yet. Okay. We Oh man, and it worked. It's like, oh, that's funny that's how drunk you're supposed to be. Wow, I'm not going to get that drunk because I want to read this to people on the interwebs. And sure enough, all right,
I put the
link.
thing in the side chat there.
I got the link to the description. I'm going to put it over there as well. You got it in the.
I got it in the private chat.
Well, let's see if we can make it. Hang on a minute. Where are you at? Live chat. It's private. We're going to make it public. Right now, we're not getting personal. Actually, we are getting personal with you, my favorite viewer. You know, Brojo and Green Soul, they get in touch with each other all the time. They're over there on Brojo's 420 Cafe.
Mm-hmm.
There's never here when we're doing it. By golly, that's just sad. That's sad. I miss them. Okay, this is the link to the parsha we're reading today. It starts off with Exodus goes through the 5th chapter. Is it?
Yeah, I don't know. I gotta look.
Yeah. It goes to the 6th chapter, verse 1. So basically all of 5 in the first verse of chapter 1. Yes, chapters were put there by the Christians to better reference the Torah. They're not actually natural to the Torah itself.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What I was saying about this week's parsha, God Gets Personal, is it's the first time we get an anthropomorphized expression of God, the hand of God. Israel's my firstborn son. You know, we'll learn in Exodus, you know, Moses talks to God mouth to mouth.
Right.
So, yeah, we don't get a personal God.
Mouth
Really.
to mouth, face to face, basically is what that's.
Yeah. I mean, you can't see God's face and live, but Moses could talk on that level. How's that?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Right?
Correct.
I've heard people go nuts over that too. I've gone nuts over stuff I'm still going nuts over stuff in the Bible. It just doesn't stop. So we start off with these are the names of the sons of Israel who came to Egypt. Each man and his household came with Egypt. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Benjamin, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. All of Jacob's descendants then numbered 70, including Joseph, who was living in Egypt. Israelites are fertile and prolific. Obviously, they became good and big, and a new king arose over Egypt. That's what I like to bring up, because Egypt was redeeming. Egypt was a very redeeming place. We talked about that last week. But a new king. I wonder what happened in the politics of Egypt, because what happened now, it was Egypt's undoing. I've mentioned it before. I've seen the second episode now. It's called Testament, the story of Moses. It's a Netflix series, 3 episodes, 3-hour long. It's like a docu-film. It's really good. If you have Netflix, I'd recommend it. Now that we're getting into Exodus, what else was I going to talk about? So yeah,
I don't know. This is kind of cool though. A new king who did not know Joseph. Now this is kind of interesting. Rabbi Reuben brought this up either last night or the night before. That since Pharaoh was good with Joseph and Jacob, God was good with him. So it was Pharaoh's job to water the crops and everything like that. So Pharaoh went to the river. He would bow to the river, and the river would basically bow back to him and water the fields and do that on its own because since Pharaoh was good to just, Israel and Jacob, all that. So now the new king He did not know Joseph. Got it in his head, said something stupid like, "Yeah, I'm the king. I'm a god. I can make the river bow and water itself and everything else like this." And that's when God's grace disappeared from Pharaoh's, and the river quit doing that, and he had to get people to do it for him. So he was himself, since gods don't use the restroom and all that, there was an apportioned time of day where no one was near the river, where the royal family would go and do their business in the river. So they could hold that, quote, godlike status. So there was that. I learned that yesterday, the day before. That was a pretty interesting way of putting it. So, but he doesn't understand how the king did not know of Joseph. That's it. He's still working on that one.
I was looking at Rashi commentary. A new king arose. Rav and Shemuel different in their interpretation of these words. One said that he was, in fact, a new king, and the other said this was the same king, but that he issued new edicts.
Right.
According to the second opinion, this means that when it comes to he did not know Joseph, according to the second opinion above, this means that he acted as if he had never known Joseph.
Right. Okay.
Well,
again, he said something. Well, I must be a god because I control the river. And being one of their idols, who knows? The river is one of the idols.
God allowed to slip with the first Pharaoh.
Right.
This is many generations later. I don't know if it could be the same king.
No. Well, you got to remember too. They lived a long time. So, anywho, I just want to throw that in there. I thought that was a pretty cool commentary.
Thank you, Rabbi Reuven.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're just a jerk. I mean, nothing's happened yet. I mean, Moshe hadn't even begun. He hadn't even done anything yet, and he's like, "Let's make their."
Yeah, this is before Moses.
Yeah, let him put too many chores in there and afflict them, and they could be more than us. We have to keep back breaking labor as it's described here. Making them work with bricks and mortar as well as all the kinds of work of the field. All the work they were subjected to was imposed with crushing harshness. The king of Egypt spoke to the Hebrew midwives, one of whom was called Shifra, the other one was Pura. He said to them, "When you deliver the Hebrew women, look at the birth stool. If it is a boy, kill him. If it's a girl, let her live." But the midwives feared God, and they did not do as the king of Egypt had told them. They helped the boys live.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Now, some say like there's a debate whether these midwives were like Egyptians working as midwives or if these were actual Hebrew midwives. But the midwives feared God and didn't do what authority told them to do. Isn't that nice? The Hebrew women are not like Egyptian women. They are skilled in giving birth. Before the midwife gets to them, they have already given birth. They're skilled.
Yeah. Got out of that one.
They gave us circumcision, y'all. Ladies in the West, Americans. Okay? All right.
But he granted the midwives dynasties. I like that.
Yeah, right? I wonder what became of them.
I don't know.
Houses of the priesthood. This is Rashi. The houses of the priesthood, the Levitic family, and the royal family, which are called houses, as it is written. And he built the house of the Lord. But this is for dynasties. I thought it was he made houses for them, but their interpretation says they're granted the dynasties. The priesthood in the Levitic family from Jochebed, and the royal family from Miriam, as stated in the tractate Sota. All right, we'll have to go back to Sota again sometime.
Mm-hmm.
They made houses, so these were like, a Levite man went and married Jochebed, Levi's daughter. The woman conceived and gave birth to a son. Seeing how good he was, she kept him hidden for 3 months. When she could no longer hide him, she got him a wicker basket and caulked it with clay inside and pitch outside, and placed the child in it, and placed it among the rushes near the bank of the Nile River. This is when Pharaoh's daughter found him.
Mm-hmm.
An Egyptian name. The greatest teacher and the greatest prophet in all of Judaism has an Egyptian name. Somebody's trying to get in touch with me. Too bad. I'm busy. But thanks for calling. It's probably something to do with work. Said to Jochebed, take this child and nurse him for me, and I will pay your fee. So the woman took the child and nursed him, his own mother. So, yeah, he knew he was probably Jewish growing up. Everyone knew he was probably a Hebrew growing up.
Not necessarily. Not if you were raised in the palace, you weren't.
When the child grew up, Jochebed brought him to Pharaoh's daughter, and he became like a son to her.
Yeah,
She
see, that's
named
just,
him,
yeah. But that doesn't mean that she's not in the palace, that he's not growing up in the palace.
right?
You got your nannies everywhere, hey. The thing is that when the child grew up, like I said, I'm really not liking what they did to the translations on this. So, I don't know. She named him Moses, so it's like when he grew up, it's like, what, you turn around, take him, he turns like 6 months and he's grown up? Well, okay, whatever.
Let me see here. Something in the following text. Yeah, it was prophecy. What Rashi was saying it was like prophecy. It's like, here, he's yours.
Right.
Jochebed to...
Yeah, he's a teenager. You can have him now.
Yeah, right. These Hebrew boys are a pain in the neck. How could you? No.
Uh-huh. Because the reason I said that is because we've been taught in one section that Moses was before Balaam, Jethro, and Job. And remember that he had the reason he had a stammer and all that was because of the coal that was touched to his tongue when he was a baby.
What was the coal for?
That's what caused his stammering. Well, he couldn't speak really well because he was going to say something and the angel took the coal and burned his tongue.
Huh.
He was a toddler or something like that.
I hadn't heard that.
So that's why I'm saying I don't care for this translation. They changed this a few months back, and I was like, no.
Yeah, Chabad does that. They do like to update things often, don't they?
Yes, but the thing was, I can't remember what it was. It was like they were there in front of Pharaoh, and something like if he goes to get money, if he goes to do something, I don't know what it was, something to that effect. Balaam was being an ass. Well, just being Balaam, and because he knew who Moses was, and he knew, Balaam was a prophet. He knew when God was going to say something.
Yeah.
So that went along the lines of that. And like I said, Jethro knew who Moses was too. So it's like, all right. But anyway, that's for a different time. I think that is also it might be in one of the Talmud's books. I think it's in one of the Talmud things. But anyway, we were down to where the Hebrew men were arguing.
Yep. Kills the Egyptian because the Egyptian was being a total jerk. Struck him down and buried him in the sand. And who appointed you as leader to judge over us? Do you intend to kill me as you kill the Egyptian? These are Hebrew men saying that to him. Shame on you, Egyptian scum.
That's right.
Yeah. They were going to kill him, and he ran. God saves him, brings him to Midian. We all know the story. Marries Zipporah. Has a son named Gershom. Gershom. A stranger there. I've been a stranger in an alien land. It was during those years that the king of Egypt died. The Israelites moaned on account of their work and cried out. Their pleas from the work rose up before God. God heard their anguished groan, and God recalled his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. God looked upon the Israelites, and God took note. There's a new translation I'd never heard before.
Yeah, like I said.
Go back to Mechan Mamre.
Right.
Reads like King James. A burning bush.
It's like I don't get it. Why remove your shoes? That's what gets me. Remove your shoes from your feet, for the place that you are standing is holy ground. Amen.
Here's the other thing. It's always about Moses following a lost sheep. I've seen this on a couple interpretations. It says right here, Moses was tending the flocks of his father-in-law Jethro, ruler of Midian, high priest of Midian. Moses guided the flock far into the desert and came to the mountain of God, Mount Horeb. So he was leading flock up there. It's
Or in the
like,
vicinity.
yeah, guided the flock far into the desert and came to the mountain of God. It's just foretelling, isn't it? It would be the first time he tended a flock and brought him there.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Here I am. How was it? Who was it? It was Abraham said, "Where are you?" when God would speak, and it was Moses who would say, "Here I am." There was a link between the two. Gosh, that's why I should write more stuff down. God
Okay.
saw that he had turned aside to look. God called him from the midst of the bush, saying, "Moses, Moses." He replied, "Here I am."
Mm-hmm.
Remove your shoes. This is the place. Yeah, it doesn't really, there's no commentary from Rashi on that.
Uh-uh.
Now he argues with God a bit. Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and take the Israelites out of Egypt? Do
Exactly.
not fear. Huh?
Exactly.
Do not
Well,
fear.
it's like when he went to Midian. It's like, okay, there was your sanctuary city, and since the Pharaoh had died, he can now people can no longer go after him because he can come out of the sanctuary city now because those who were in charge back then have passed on.
Timing.
Mm-hmm.
Do not worry, for I will be with you. This is your sign that I have sent you. When you take the people out of Egypt, you will all serve God on this mountain. Moses said, I will be just as I will be. We hear I am that I am. It's I will be what I will be.
Mm-hmm.
You must say to the Israelites, I will be, sent me with you. That will let them know that he's on their side, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Setting things up.
Yeah. But the one I like right here is that the Christians kind of miss. It's the 15. It says, God further said to Moses, so you must say to the Israelites, God, the God of your forefathers, God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has sent me to you. This is my proper name, but its pronunciation is to be concealed. This is how I am to be recalled for all generations. Yeah, we do not say the Lord's name. And that's why.
We don't try to even pronounce something like,
No,
yeah. I want to
it's
say the
like,
wrong stuff. I understand when someone
exactly.
says the word Jehovah. I get what they're trying to say.
Uh-huh.
That's not how you say it. No, I'm not going to tell you how. Stop.
Right. But the fact still remains is we use Hashem, which is the name. That's what
Mhm.
it says, the name. This way there's no, it's a fence around a fence kind of thing.
Even the Muslim knows that God has a proper name, but they still say Allah,
Uh-huh.
the God. Something else that we kind of miss, the Christians miss. When you talk about that, we'll go down to chapter 4, verse 22. Exodus chapter 4, verse 22, if you're following along at home.
Uh-huh.
This is the first lesson my rabbi gave to me, my first rabbi, Rabbi Alberto Zelikovich, down there in Arlington, Texas. He goes, Who is the Son of God? He asks me. This is when we first meet. We talked to him on the phone, and we'd set something up, and we told him we knew the 7 laws and that we were considering conversion, yada yada. And he's kind of looks at me for a second. So who is God's son? And I said, I'm a little confused about that because I've heard over. Yes, yes, yes. You're confused. I can tell. And he hands me a Torah, hands me a Chumash, and tells me to open it up to and 22. You must
Uh-huh.
say to Pharaoh, thus God has said, Israel is, and it doesn't say preeminent. The word is, thus say to Pharaoh, Israel is my firstborn son. I am therefore telling you in God's name, send forth my son, so that he may serve me. Yet I know you will refuse to send him forth. So now I will kill your firstborn son. Um, my Christian brethren, those 2 verses, 22 and 23, if that doesn't tell you what God means when he says that, how serious it is, that designation that he puts on Israel,
Uh-huh.
and then you come along and say that JC is God's only son. Oh,
Uh-uh.
really? The only is that true? God probably has more than one son. Isaiah says sons there toward the end. The servants of God, sons. Um, so I guess that would make JC the illegitimate love child because Mary was already betrothed or married when God impregnated her. Oh, I know it wasn't God; it was an angel. Anything but
No, it wasn't.
God direct. Gotta have something there to keep. Something's got to get between you and God, right? You can't just have God. That's silly. That's silly. That would mean that you're not a worthless piece of trash. That'd mean you're not, just 3 hairs away from Neanderthal. You're not just scum of the earth peasants. If God is available to you, but that might give them peasants ideas. So they got to put something in between them. Got to make sure that something's there. And we go, Western world. We get so far and then we screw it up. Firstborn son is Israel. So if you listen to Israel, you wouldn't need to listen to anybody else on this. So excuse me.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you go down a couple more verses, which I kind of find that it's like, okay, why is this pertinent here at 24?
When Moses was at his lodgings on the way, God confronted Moses and sought to put him to death.
Mm-hmm.
And Zipporah took a sharp stone and cut off her son's foreskin and threw it down at Moses' feet. She said to the baby, "You almost caused my bridegroom's bloodshed." God's angel released Moses, and Zipporah said, "My bridegroom's bloodshed was almost occasioned by circumcision." So obviously Zipporah was on it.
Yeah. What the fuck's wrong with you, Moses? Damn it, you're supposed to be circumcising your son.
Right at her son's feet.
Where's your
That
breast?
is, that is
Uh-huh.
interesting because every time you look at it in movies, Zipporah was kind of a half unbeliever, and Moses has to convince her. Well,
Uh-huh.
she obviously knew something.
Right.
See, women are different like that. Women are different. They're not like us men. Women know stuff. Call it women's intuition, whatever.
Right.
So Moses comes back to Egypt. God sends Aaron to greet him, and the people listen, believed, and prostrated themselves in thanks. So all they go through, they still call out to Hashem.
Uh-huh. Yep. See, here's now in chapter 5, verse 2. That was his downfall right there.
What's it say?
Pharaoh replied, "Who is this God that I should heed his voice and send forth Israel? I do not recognize God, nor will I send Israel forth."
You should have. Too bad.
That's right.
Hang on to your
You
elders.
arrogant, yep, you're arrogant asshole.
Because his daddy or his predecessor would have known better than to say that.
Oh, yeah.
That God saved Egypt.
They're Joseph. And they go on and say that the quotas and everything else. It's like, I'll get back to work.
No longer give you straw. You have to make double the amount of bricks you were making, but no straw to make them. Just mud. Good luck. Y'all have fun. Just because Moses. This is a Pharaoh with a really bad little man complex. I mean, I can just see Napoleon. He has issues.
That's right.
He just sounds like an arrogant little schmuck. Listen to him, a haughty little.
Yeah.
Why are you distracting these people from their work? No longer provide people with straw for making bricks as you did previously. Let them go and make their own, gather their own. Must impose them the same quota of bricks they met previously. Do not reduce it, for they are evidently lazy. That is why they are crying out and saying, "Let us go sacrifice to our God." Trying to give people a day off of work in some lines of work too, in some businesses. Yeah, I've run into that a few times. Oh, you're just being lazy. And that's what a lot of people will think.
You do it then if you think it's so easy. Yep. And then we get down to the half Torah. Hey.
We will. Oh, we should do that. It's about that time, isn't it?
Yippers.
Well, there was something at the end there, and okay. Well, we'll move right along. You can read it at home. It's good reading.
Yep.
And we're just getting started. This is like the book of cliffhangers too. There are like the sages and rabbis and whatnot who set up the parsha reading, the yearly. I mean, they leave you hanging. This could be a great weekly show because every parsha could it leaves you hanging, makes you want to tune in. It's good reading. All right, but let's get to it here. The Haftorah.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah. I'll put this over here. Hey, Bro Joe. Here it is. Oh, I can't put you on. It doesn't show up. I can't get your Bro Joe's on there. I didn't even know you were here, my man. J Dub's around. His wife isn't too friendly with him being on here with us. It kind of gives him some heck. So sometimes he's able to get free, but sometimes most of the time he can't. But he's doing well. I actually talked to him yesterday on the phone and living and doing thing. Brojo asks, I wish I could find a way to put this up so everyone could see it. Is that how you do it? Hey, there you go. All right. Do you think it is just to kill the innocent baby for the sins of the father? Heck no. Both Isaiah and Torah say, do not punish the father for the sin of the son, nor the son for the sin of the father. Do not put to death put to death, I think is what they were.
No man can die for another.
Yeah,
basically.
And each man shall die for his own sin. Period. That's the law. That's how it's written. So no, it is not. You do not put a child to death for the sin of the father, and nor the father for the sin of the son. Every man pays for his own sin. That's Torah, big time. So thank you, and love to see you again. We'll have to get together and chat sometime, bro, Joe. He's the man. He's the man from Philly. Coolest Philly dude I ever known. All right. This week's Off Torah portion, it's a section of the Hebrew Bible that directly pertains to the Torah portion we were reading, but is not in the Torah itself this week. Tonight, Isaiah chapter 27, verse 6, we start. Yeshayu. And we'll just begin. Those who came, whom Jacob caused to take root, Israel flourished and blossomed, and they filled the face of the world with fruitage. Like the smiting who smote him, did he smite him. Like the slaying of his slain ones, was he slain. In that measure, when we set them out, it strove with it. He spoke with his harsh wind on the day of the east wind. Therefore, with this shall Jacob's iniquity be atoned for, and this all the fruit of removing his sin, by making all the altar stones like crushed chalk stones. Asherim and sun images shall not rise. Asherim are holy trees. They plant for holy reasons. Pagan. For a fortified city is solitary. A dwelling is forsaken and abandoned like a pasture. There a calf shall graze, and there he shall lie and consume its branches. When its branches dry out, they shall be broken. Women shall come and ignite it, for it is not a people of understanding. Therefore its maker shall not give compassion on it, and he who formed it shall not grant it favor. And it shall come to pass on that day that the Lord shall gather from the flood of the river to the stream of Egypt, and you shall be gathered one by one, O children of Israel. And it shall come to pass on that day that a great shofar shall be sounded, and those lost in the land of Assyria, and those exiled in the land of Egypt shall come, and they shall prostrate themselves before the Lord on the holy mountain in Jerusalem. Chapter 28. Woe is to the crown of the pride of the drunkards of Ephraim, and the young fruit of an inferior fig is the position of his glory, which is at the end of a valley of fatness, crushed by wine. Behold, God has a strong and powerful wind, like a downpour of hail, a storm of destruction, like a stream of powerful flooding water. He lays it on the hand with his hand. With the feet they shall be trampled, the crown of the pride of the drunkards of Ephraim. And his glorious beauty shall be the young fruit of an inferior fig, which is on the head of the valley of fatness, as a fig that ripens before the summer, which, if the seer sees it, he will swallow it while it is still in his hand. On that day the Lord of hosts shall be a crown of beauty, and for a diadem of glory for the rest of his people, and for a spirit of justice to him who sits in judgment, and for who might those and for might for those who bring back the war to the gate. Those too erred because of wine, and strayed because of strong wine. Priest and prophet erred because of strong wine. They became corrupt because of wine. They went astray because of strong wine. They erred against the seer. They caused justice to stumble. For all tables were filled with vomit and ordure, without place. Whom shall he teach knowledge, and to whom shall he explain the message? To those weakened from milk, removed from breasts? For a precept for a precept, a precept for a precept, A line for a line, a line for a line, a little there, a little there. For with distorted speech and in another language does he speak to his people. For he said to them, This is the rest, give rest to the weary, and this is the tranquility. But they would not listen. And the word of the Lord shall be for them a precept for a precept, a precept for a precept, a line for a line, a line for a line, a little there, in order that they go and stumble backwards and be broken and be trapped and caught. Therefore, so says the Lord to the house of Jacob, who redeemed Abraham. Now Jacob shall not be ashamed, and know his face shall not pale, and now his face shall not pale. For when he sees his children, the work of my hands, in his midst, who shall hallow my name, they shall hallow the holy name of Jacob, and the God of Israel they shall revere.
Amen. Hi, Carla. How you doing?
Well, hi, Carla.
You doing okay?
Shalom, shalom.
Worry about you being out there in the fires and everything.
Yeah. Well, I hope you're marked safe.
Yes.
Good to see you guys in here. Good to see you. And I'm glad I got to see you because we're about to wrap things up here in the Nexus. We'll be back next Thursday, inshallah, as they say over there, God willing. Thanks for tuning in. Rosalie, any final words?
Oh, just Shabbat Shalom. Everybody be well. Everybody be healthy.
Amen.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry, honey. Your dog and everybody okay too? Yeah, we got you. Where'd you go? Okay.
My goodness. Carla, may Hashem carry you.
Mm-hmm.
As Moses carried Moshe through the waters of the Nile. Yeah. Well, I'm glad to see you, and I'll pray for you. Godspeed, and anybody else listening out there on that end of the world. Actually, both ends of our country. We got some hard living, and I wish you all the best. May Hashem bring peace and prosperity to us all, comfort to the afflicted.
Oh, cool. Cool. I asked her if she got her dog out. She said yes. The guy next door got my dog out. I was not home. She was not work.
Well,
Good.
that's a good neighbor.
Yes.
It's a really good neighbor. Well, thank him for me, if you would.
Yes.
Well, we're going to wrap it up here on the Nexus. We'll see you next week, 8 p.m. Central. And Rosalie,
Shabbat Shalom, y'all.
shalom. All right. Take care, y'all.
Mm-hmm.